to be a host.
How to be a host.
Mm-hmm. It's a natural born talent, you should say.
Hopefully, some people join us today.
Yeah, it's been like what, 3 weeks? I think we. When was the last?
Maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah, something like three
Yeah, I
weeks.
lost track of time somewhere, huh?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm a little bit freezing. Might need to re-enter and something. Okay. Oh, hi, Caligula.
Hey, Caligula.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, nice to. Good start. Good start. Some familiar faces. How are you?
I'm glad you guys are back.
Right.
Even me.
Yay! Mm. How was it?
Hello.
Any good news that we missed? Bad news?
No bad news, no.
Good.
Um, it is strange. I was talking to a friend. There's been some people who have kind of disappeared off Vault Space.
Mm.
We haven't seen in like a month or so, and it's strange how we can become kind of bonded with people
Yeah.
through here, and then they just disappear, and it's
I
concerning and sad a bit.
I have a lot to talk about this, to tell you guys and share about it. So the next one of the upcoming events, I don't want to do it just like, on the run. I'm trying to prepare. So I've been planning to have this event dedicated to Paul Leff, for that's the same period of time, like around a month or so. But I had to leave to Thailand and like to travel, and I had to gather thoughts and grieve first, and then I think soon we're going to. I want to have a presentation. Well, just like shortly speaking, he passed away. I think I told you maybe at one of the events. So
Yeah.
I want to collect all the information that he sent me, which was like a wonderful communication because we spoke a lot on WhatsApp, and he was like part of my life already, and it's been like since the first day this event started, Theory of Everything. He's been always there for us, so he's like part of the part of the ship, part of the team crew. So yeah, and
Saturday, we all met the same day, right? Then we all
yeah,
met
yeah.
each other the same day.
And actually, his daughter, we communicated a little bit after he passed away, and she gave me consent that she doesn't mind me using videos or films or anything about Paul to share with you guys. So I think it's gonna be like my guide into Paul's personality, my perspective. So something that probably is going to be at that event. So I want to gather all the videos and photographs and some stories and come up with a presentation. So it's going to take more time. So I want to prepare, but it's one of the upcoming events, definitely. But
It's
today,
really nice of you both to do that.
well, there's no other way you can do that because when a person is your good friend, part of your life, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Yep.
So
Hello, Dawson.
yeah, we just had a couple of days before this Saturday, so I decided to take a guaranteed half, like a simple topic is going to be education because I teach English in Russia, and it's like one of the biggest values that I have for, I think that a healthy society should have is education is one of those big values, I would say, if not the most and foremost.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, let's talk about
It's a good
education. Yeah, I tried to invite some Russian-speaking teachers and stuff, and shared some event review. Preview, just yesterday. So I'm not sure if they can manage to come, but anyway. Next time I'll try to invite more people from here so they can integrate into the world of VR and also practicing English. Why not? Nice geography there. It's almost like a crown for the planet.
Hmm.
We need some people from Siberia or Japan,
Or
Mongolia.
what's the place at the bottom? Antarctica.
Uh,
Need some Antarctica people. Or
now it looks.
that down?
It's just funny how it has a crown around. So if we have one spot here and one spot here, it's gonna be like a full crown at the top.
Oh, that's crap.
That's a funny coincidence. Okay, so I see a lot of new people here, which is great because I love seeing people like Caligula, for example, who are with us not like second time, third time, even more times. So any second time is always valuable because I can recognize people after one conversation because these conversations are always one-time events. So welcome to Theory of Everything. I'm going to repeat this little introduction a little bit later, but I think let's start there. It's Theory of Everything. Welcome if it's your first time. If you've been here, you're happy to be seen by my eyes. Sorry, my English is and thinking process is not at the top level as I just returned from Thailand very late recently, and that's why I still am in my jet lag adaptation period. So today we're going to talk about education. So at Theory of Everything, it's a talk show, an open floor where everybody can share their thoughts, their opinions, their experiences, so that way everybody can share these personal communication and expand our mindsets when we hear some other people's opinions and experiences. Okay, so who wants to start with the education? I know, Mendes, that you're like involved in education a lot, so maybe it's a good chance for me to learn a little bit more on your main goals, your dreams, your personal maybe teaching.
I think whoa.
Yeah.
So I am on the side of I don't like the current educational climate,
Mm-hmm.
and I've
Why so?
always kind of been against it. I don't know. I don't think that people go to school. I mean, I don't know. Here in America, schooling doesn't often lead to people becoming smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it leads to people becoming more controlled. So
By who?
I don't know. I don't know. Here, our educational system was started in the early 1900s
Mm-hmm.
from the guy who invented the easy. What's his name? He was a car guy. He invented the car process, but he also funded the start of our educational system
Ford?
here in America.
Henry Ford?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Ford. I think it was, but I'm not 100% sure. But he also put a lot of money into the educational system in order to get better employees. So, I don't know. It's always been weird for me.
Sounds harmless,
I
but still.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah, it sounds harmless, but is it really?
Could be.
Are people being based on how
Could get
people
dark
behave,
over
I
time.
see.
Mhm.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy here. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? How is education for you?
Well, in Russia, we had the Soviet time based educational system where everybody were, there was a cult of science and freedom because communism actually replaced religion and nationalities, ethnicities with a common value of communism, and also with this, strive
I
to
don't
be
know
better.
if it's just me, but you're kind of breaking up.
Oops, maybe
Anybody else having that?
I can move my.
Oh no, you hear
Microphone?
fine, Caligula?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you fine.
You're fine.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's
Hey, Alex. Oh, hey, Helian. People get and join. Hey, nice to see you guys.
class.
Hi. Yeah, so an education system we used to be from Soviet times, and then we had like Bologna system, like which is a European system of education where you have points and all that. So it's been different, and I think that still, like, I think that there was a very huge difference in level of education historically in Russia, because I think in the 18th, 19th century, it's been a privilege of rich people, which were very, like a very small portion of people could afford education, because people could not afford like simple basic things like housing or even freedom. I think there still were so many different hierarchical and social differences between different how do I say, like levels of society. So the majority of people could not afford to be educated. And I think right now we had a huge pitfall in the 90s, because the 90s were like, there was a country that just started on 1919s, and it's been like a chaos for 10 years between Soviet Union fell apart and Russia actually has become a new country, new something. So right now we can see multiple pitfalls connected to those periods where people didn't get good education. Like those people who got education in the 90s, they become doctors, and right now they're respected doctors. They're around 40, 50 years old, but because their education was not like of quality at that time, I think they can have a huge negative impact on the reality that we live in, our like medical system, educational system, like government, institutions, something like that. So I'm not of a very high opinion about the Russian education, to be honest with you, but it's very accessible. It's a country, actually, surprisingly, Russia is one of the top countries with an amount of people who have higher education. So the percentage is like much higher than in many countries, like 25% or something. So every fourth person in the country has education, which is higher education, which is a very high number for many European countries and even America, I think.
Yeah, even America.
Yeah. So I would love to hang over the microphone to somebody else, because my speech is not very satisfying for me.
I did allow hand raises.
Yes, that's what I was going to do. Okay.
I've always thought of education as like for me, it's evil. I think it's borderline just brainwashing. There's so many concepts that are not covered in school that could help us in life as just individuals. It's awkward to me. It's always been like a weird thing.
I would take an opposite position from you, and I would say that education is one of the biggest and most important tools for building the future and building the future society. It's like stereotypes. You can say that stereotypes are not entirely correct, but they give you that basic level of information that actually saves you from many dangers, right? So I think with education, it's pretty much the same. We take it for granted, and we think that this is something that comes as a part of the deal, but in reality, it's not. It's what we have to do is just change the structure and change the way it works and how people are involved in their level of responsibility. So I believe that we can build a better education, but I wouldn't still devalue its importance as for today.
It's important, right?
Yeah, we need it, definitely. Better to have bad one than none.
Right. So is it? So I think more or less it's I have an issue with the education system, but not with educating people. I think True. Just getting to educating people better is the thing, but the current education system is just weird to me. I don't know.
Curious. Okay, let's maybe handy on me. Would you like to share something about British system and your own opinion about education? It's gonna make a great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but I think you're a bit far from the microphone, maybe.
Well, yeah, I'm on 2D and not my usual PC. Also, I have a cold as well.
What I do, I just take off the camera from my monitor and just put it closer to my mouth. It's like using a cup or some kind of utensils.
I'm not sure if I can make it now. But, I'm not used to 2D, so I have the normal controls.
Welcome to the world of flat, disabled hands. Yeah.
Can I say one thing about education system? And I agree with Ozzy that it's
Yeah, you can do more than one.
Yeah, and tell me if you can't hear me, but of course a very important thing to bear in mind at the moment is that very topical thing, of course, as well, is that you can teach kids. You can teach kids.
Give you a microphone. Just hit confirm.
Parts of the world at the moment who are being taught, one version of history as opposed to another version of history. So you've got to be a little bit careful, But yeah, in general, education about most science. In the past, education has been a bit science education as well. Has been a bit iffy. Certain.
Why? Oh, I can't hear you. If you mute.
Well, can you hear me still? Yeah.
Yes. Now.
The victors always write history in wars and things like that. So, and of course, there's things going on at the moment. It's history education should be objective, but it isn't always in terms of what we teach. But yeah, the British education system is okay. I was lucky to have benefited from it. You probably don't know, but my son has just graduated as well a while back. He got a first semester as well. So yeah, and he's doing a master's now, so that's good. So we're lucky to have a pretty good education system in England. So it's an interesting subject as well. Sorry,
Thanks.
Kyla, are you saying something?
Yeah, welcome. I think it's his first time here. Son Kyla. When you don't speak, I would recommend to mute yourself, because if you talk to somebody else, it's going to be a little bit noisy for the room. Okay.
I'm from India.
Nice to meet you. I can tell that you're from India. Can you mute yourself, please, when you don't speak, because it creates additional noise?
No, it's my microphone problem. I can't. If I mute
No, you
myself,
can
then
program in.
also
I mean,
continue that.
in your menu.
Just through all space.
Yeah, in your menu on the left, you can just hit the microphone button, and it's gonna mute you.
Okay, sure, I will do
top.
that.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We can do that, but I don't think it's too polite to use power here. So, hi everybody on this wing. I haven't seen you before. So, does anybody wants to add anything about the education? Where are you from? What's your education right now? What were you satisfied with it? What do you think is the function of education in the first place? So we can have so many levels of discussions. Yeah. For example, just yesterday, I had a conversation with a lady who's into in one project where they are designing a game for learning languages. I'm like, this is an amazing idea, because I see how kids in Russia who just like to play video games, their English is like, in 80% of the cases, it's always much better than other students who do not play video games. Because games are very engaging, and you have a goal that you're trying to chase, and that's why you don't even think about how do you have to learn the words or to memorize things. You have to do that just to it's just part of the requirements to fulfill your goals and to reach your goals in the game. So it's very effective, because engagement and emotions gives like a very good platform for remembering different words and using them in communication. So maybe that could be like the future of the education, right? We could have VR education, we could have AR education, we could have, oh, hi, Mardel Swire, happy to see you. Yeah, we could have so many new formats of learning and creativity. What should we learn? I think in the past we were just memorizing information, and now we don't have to do that, because we have Google, we have all the storage, and that's why we don't need to memorize things. What we have to do to teach now is to process information, to filter what's fake, what's unreliable information and what's something that is verified, trusted source of information. So now it's more of a processing rather than remembering. So I think the education should keep up with these changes in the world, because there has been a very radical shift in the history of humankind, I think within maybe 30 years or 40 years, since the internet was invented, and there are so many technologies that we have every day, and the flood of information that we have every day, we have overload of information because there's too much we can afford and too little we can actually handle. And that's why that kind of I think many people struggle with that, because not even knowing that they do struggle. Yeah. So, does anybody want to add some comments? Yes, Caligula. Let me give you. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Caligula. Let me give you a hand microphone.
I'll put them on here.
Oh, once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think what should be taught in education, what's deeply lacking, is the skill of critical thinking and researching matters, avoiding misinformation. So difficult with the noise and all the data that we have at our to actually know how to sift through it all and find truth. Even as an adult, I don't know how to do that efficiently, let alone as a kid. Also, here in the United States, education has become a bit of a political football. There are movements to ban certain books from schools. It seems people have really recognized how much school influences how their kids turn out, the social and political beliefs that their kids turn out with as adults. So there's a movement to sanitize and whitewash our history and other forms of thought control through education.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this system, because it's government controlled, it can be filtered according to propaganda. That's factor number one. And factor number two that you also mentioned is that it's too slow, because the information and all the lifestyle and the world structure has changed so dramatically that we have to sift through all this information and to be able to find orientation in that vast ocean of information. So that's really what we need to teach, and our education system is not fast enough to adapt to that. So that's where we have this educational gap. Okay. Anybody else wants to join? Mardella Soar, would you like to share your thoughts about it? The topic for today is education. So anything you have to say about it is welcomed.
Well, I did want to pose a question too after you're done, Mara.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
What do you think the goals of education should be?
Mm-hmm.
What outcomes are we looking for?
Yeah, good questions too. Let's keep them. Okay, Mardelos, why would you like to add anything? Or maybe later? Yes, let me give you a microphone.
Okay.
Happy to see you, by the way.
Really much formal education. I just finished high school and went to work. For me, education was all about, making money. I mean, when I was 18 years old, I got a job, and I got into an apprenticeship program. For me, that's just how it was for me. I'm not saying that's the route everyone should take, but actually, I'm glad. There are people that look at the bigger picture, but I was just looking out for myself, and so
getting straight to money making. Yeah, that's true. Many people say that education lacks that practical aspect of how to make money, how to pay your bills, and like things like these. They're never in our educational systems in many countries. So yeah, what I actually noticed is something that I don't like in American system of education, and I think many other countries also have that. I think Helian, if you can tell me if it's the same for a British system, that kids, when they learn from class to class, they have to choose some of their subjects that they want to learn, and they move around the building, joining different classes for different subjects. Whereas in Russian schools, we have a certain class of students, which are like 25 to 30 people in the first grade and like junior school and all that. And so that way, it's a different experience. Where in Russia, kids spend so much time together, going to different subjects, having different classes, but always being in the same group of kids. Whereas in American system, for example, there are always different classes. Oh, I know this girl from biology class. Oh, I know that guy from something class. It kind of helps to have more contacts, but they're not of that quality contacts because you spend too little time with these people, and there are different classes, different grades. And if I'm correct, because that's how I see the in the films and how this system is actually functioning. So I think for building quality relationships and teaching that skill, I think it's more useful to keep kids in the same group and balanced group. That's going to be the best option, where you have a balanced little group of kids that interact with other classes with different teachers, but they stay together, so that way they build significant long-term bonds like of communication. Well, if you want to have a community where people have such types of communications, I don't know. Do we want?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is very different from. I mean, you're right. You know, here in America, like we mix everything. You know, we're mixing during all those classes, but that camaraderie that probably is gained from that, you know, that might be invaluable. Because if you have to see the same people, something happens, you got to overcome that together as a group. You know, it doesn't just go away. But you know, in America, we can run to another class, another set of our friends, and you know, change that. I think that's pretty cool. I didn't know it was different there. So
yeah, that's the Soviet system. Yeah, I think that system is just, it's still there. It hasn't changed. The school education is like that. And kids, they normally go to one school that has all the classes, all the schools included, high school, middle school, and like starting from 6-7 years of age to 16-17 years of age. All those 10 classes, 11 classes, they study in the same building that is determined based on their residence. So it's definitely a school that is close to your house, and chances are that you're gonna spend a lot of time with kids at school, and after that you're gonna have these neighbors. Your classmates are almost always your neighbors, or some like people who live in the same district, which is also cool because you kind of build another ecosystem around the schools where kids know each other and they play together. They go to different places like parks and some areas to spend some more time together, which also builds this community atmosphere, right? Where you have this neighborhood and like a community where everybody knows everybody. That's why you feel very comfortable, inside your district. Right.
Yeah, that's very cool, actually.
Yeah, it's just how Russian system and Soviet system used to work. I loved those projects where they had like experiments on cities. They would create different city structures from scratch to see how it's gonna influence people's thoughts and moods and how they work, their productivity and all that. Yeah, I love the Soviet system experiments that they used to have. Okay, so let's see what other hand raises we have. Helian, I believe you wanted to share. So let me give you a microphone again. Look, yeah.
Great. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Right. A few things stacked up actually. Yeah. Okay. I'll go backwards then. Okay. On the class sizes, can you hear me by the way?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's rather loud. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm not used to being sat in front of a PC rather than in a headset. We it's a bit of a mix because whether you stay together in a group or you or you separate and go to different places. Depends on the subjects, because if you're doing chemistry, you need to go to a chemistry lab, and we have quite a bit of choice. Certainly after about the first, I guess in the American system it would be about 9th grade or somewhere around there. You then start to specialize. So some people will do science subjects, and some people will do, more art subjects and things like that. So obviously you need to go to a laboratory or whatever appropriate to this topic. But some subjects you will tend to stick together in classes. And normally you will have, morning classes and that where you will be together as well. But it is important to do bonding, to learn how to, get on with fellow classmates. And, that is an important part as well. Something from what you were saying, I wanted to say earlier, and it related to what 2 or 3 of you were saying, is that education-wise, these days, there is just so much more stuff to know than there ever used to be. So going back a couple of 100 years, you could somebody like Newton or somebody, he could be an expert in the mathematics of the day, an expert in the astronomy of the day, an expert in philosophy. They're polymaths, what they were called, weren't they? They were very clever people, but they knew almost entire sum of human knowledge. So now you can take quite concise subjects like computer science that I do, and yet even then it's a very broad subject, and nobody can know everything now. It's just stuff around to know, which is why things like the internet and that are important, because it is at least a place you can go to, and you have to know then how to get what you know out, what you want, the truth from often very conflicting sources of data. So you have to know how to read it. Now in science, often there is more objective truth, in the sense that are things that you can do experiments and you can repeat things, and you can be reasonably sure that, as far as we know, that a particular fact is true. Of course, there are so many things in human knowledge, in philosophy, and just the way we interact with each other, where it isn't always obvious what the actual truth is. So you really have to be very circumspect, I think is the word, about sort of what is actually a objective truth, and it is often there isn't an objective truth. It's subjective from where you are, and it causes so many problems, with conspiracy theories and other things as well. But people just it is difficult because there's just so much information around there, and it's exploding, the amount of information that we have. So a specific example, I'm doing a talk on Tuesday about the James Webb Telescope here in Torquay, and
cool.
Just in the last year, since James Webb has gone out, the amount of data we're now getting from deep space, it's in a year or two of James Webb data, it'll amount to almost all the previous data we've ever had.
With Hubble
around there now. So our knowledge base is just mushrooming, and actually trying to find out what is relevant and what is objectively true in these sorts of data sets. It's a major problem, really, that humanity has to face. Finding the right data, finding the relevant data, and then knowing how to act on it as well, which is another
critical thinking. Again,
how to process it, critical thinking, as you said.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because this is exactly, I think my point is that we need education, but we need to have relevant education, which is going to be, covering these points, not teaching you, not trying to, stuff you with all that information, but giving you the principles, like those fractal formulas for, figuring out things, and universal principles. I think of logic, I would say that teaching logic is going to be such a great way to educate people, because it's going to be fun, because logic is always about, guessing and maybe classes of creativity. I would definitely think that creativity should be, encouraged by the education system, not only in the way of, you know, visual arts, something like art classes, or maybe working with clay or something, but all those things, and also plus to that some engineering stuff, which is going to be fun. Because I think if you teach kids and allow them to teach you, I'm sure, because kids are going to create so many cool things that we never thought of, using that child creativity and enhancing that, I think that would be such a great advancement in education, because we turn kids into adults and, you know, memory machines or anything else, but not, you know, we don't always harness their creativity that is there. It's like, it's so amazing how kids can come up with some things that we don't see because we have low limits and, you know, paradigms that we have already in place. And that's why, how they say, it's hard to pour some knowledge in a vessel that is already full. So maybe we don't have to accumulate, but maybe we need to learn how to surf and stay on the surface and, you know, catch that fish among, you know, hundreds of other fish. Just knowing the principles and being able to stay on the surface. Like, I mean, what I mean is understanding what's going on and figuring out, like, what's the main point and what's the truthful information and what's the solution. Like, simply finding those solutions, I think, is going to be the most valuable result for kids. I talked too much.
She broke up for me.
Oh.
You guys still hear her?
Yeah, I'm done anyway. So Kikito was, had a hand raise, and maybe you can.
I know. I was hearing everything and shit. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. I teach English, so this is the best place to practice. Mm-hmm.
It's like you got your universe, I got my universe, he got his universe.
Mm-hmm.
Being together in this world right now, we're being like connected, not being together.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are in my brain, we sharing the thoughts, right?
To some extent, especially if you speak out.
I'm excited. I'm here, bro. It looks so beautiful.
Welcome to Theory of Everything.
Welcome.
Yeah. What do you think about education?
So keep continue, and then if I had a question to say, I will say it. I just want to listen.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just curious. What do people think about what education should be?
Thoughts on it.
Well, I never had education. I tried to get education from my mom just because she don't know English.
Mm-hmm. Where you come from, by the way? Your name sounds.
Puerto Rico.
From where? Puerto Rico?
I was born in Puerto Rico, but I live in Chicago now.
Ah, cool.
Oh, hey.
Interesting. And
what's up, man? Don't tell me you're a neighbor. Woo-wee.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm curious what the educational systems in different countries are. So
just because I didn't know English, they put me in special ed, and that kind of messed me up.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah, it messed me up because like they give me the easy stuff to learn. They didn't give me no hard stuff. And then when I get home, my mom was like, "Oh, go to the room."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to go to class. You I have the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had the teachers, and I got patience. I think I didn't graduate though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got kicked out of the house. You know what? It's kind of short. Didn't graduate, so I didn't get help. I didn't get help in school. Just didn't get help in the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, that's it. As simple as that.
Well,
I just work in
education
factories.
kind of. Yeah, so education.
I need it because like every time I go to a factory,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Whoa, you should become a manager. You should become a boss." But like, I can't read.
Mm-hmm.
You need that. You need to read, and you need college.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot become a boss if you don't got a degree. I was like, I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
language.
I don't mind working with my hands. I love it. I will work with my hands till I die. I mean,
if you enjoy it, why not?
I'm not.
Yeah. But I think it's just such an interesting, aspect that you mentioned. Language barriers, and like moving around countries. Yeah. I think that would be such an amazing part of education where kids would have to, travel for some period of time and get adjusted to other people and other cultures and other countries.
It's cool. You can travel, but like the family I got in my mind has to understand. Like, I can't tell her now because like, oh, this and that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she will blame me because I didn't try hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why are you blaming me if I was a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, you just learn. I just need help. Other than that, just go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Suck it in. stay quiet and they just go forward. I don't even talk about it again. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think education could be something also universal. I think that such cases would be eliminated.
I want schools to be better. I want teachers to be better. I want students to be better.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
do you hear the news right now? Kids
About what? Shoot.
can't fight
shoot.
with fists no more. They can't fight with fists. Now they gotta carry a knife. Now they want guns. I was like, come on, really? What happened? What's going on with this world? It's turning evil right now. So I just said, I wish I was the government. I told like I would change the world.
That's actually a very important point. Yes, school shootings that happen in America. I'm like, what is this phenomenon, guys?
It's happening
There's
right now.
yeah, that's
Like,
such
you see
a
movies.
yeah. Well, that's such like a ridiculous fact, even that it exists and it happens not like not one time, not even 10 times, regularly. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You guys should really stop and see what's going on in your families.
Government. I blame the government. Too much games, too much TVs, and too much free internet.
Well, I think I think that societies maybe are growing, and maybe people. I don't know. Do you ever get after the shootings? Do you ever get information from those people who were shooters? Why did they shoot?
I mean, they said they're depressed. They said they feel lonely. They say I couldn't have a. Can you believe this? I couldn't have a girlfriend. Let me shoot people. Like that's how bad it is in Chicago, in the United States.
Exactly. Maybe
that mall shooter.
Yeah.
Do you hear a little kid right now this week? Do you hear a little kid? He put pictures of matralletas and then machine guns. He went to jail right now. He's in jail right now. 10 years old. Had to put him in jail because like we don't know what to do with the kids no more.
Yeah.
Now, the kid, the mom is suing the police department. But how can you sue the police department knowing the kids needs discipline? If the kids only gets discipline, he's gonna do the same thing that everybody does. Kill innocent people.
I've always felt like you can discipline and educate. You know, if there was, but it got to be a different education. You gotta also be teaching the kids moral concepts, spiritual concepts as well. But that's not what's taught in the average household. That's not what's taught in school. So.
Yeah, just
very unfortunate. I'm real sorry you had that experience too. Yeah.
Now the kids are being street smart.
Hey. Yeah, street smart.
I mean, like whatever they can find in the street, they will make money.
Yeah, definitely. By judging by your speed of your speech, you have a very fast brain.
I'm always hyper. No. My girlfriend's mad at me right now. She's in the living room. I'll let her be. Have space. I'm gonna have my space over here.
Okay.
Just space and all space, no problem.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I too was failed by the education system. You know, I never graduated or anything, but you know, we it's amazing how I don't know. Like I own a business now, and I posted an ad for a job, and I require someone to have a degree. You know, it's just
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you need to. It's like that's the way life works.
Yeah, it's like a minimal level of like entry level into the world of some serious stuff, I guess.
About me, if you have more, I'm not gonna hate. I'll bless you. You know what I mean? Richer than me, cool. Hotter than me, cool. You got more kids than me, God bless you. Hey,
see, we need more of that.
Makes me happy.
That's great.
It's good that you can come from a place where you want to seek that collaboration. And I don't always get that from other people, but people who like me or people who are open to that, I think it's just better people who are like that, you know. So
definitely. I think when people are somewhat angry at the world and they think that they should have this, you know, competition and get over other people and get richer, get more successful, I think that comes from maybe being traumatized. I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Well,
Curious.
I always blamed the education system here with the grading, the way we grade, the way we do, like, you know, star systems for whatever, and you know, all that stuff we do to reward a student. I think also teaches and breeds competition.
Well, it does.
That's something that always rubbed me the wrong way with education.
that makes sense. that people will come out of the schools wanting to win, being better, getting better marks, I guess.
Better. It preaches a superior. Yeah, me, it teaches superiority. You know, it teaches. For me, in my brain, I have always, well, not always, but I see it as teaching being superior to someone else. Because you're better at this or that or the other in this sector, right? And I don't know, it just always was weird to me. I noticed it.
Yeah, but do you think if we eliminated that aspect of competition and maybe people?
I think if we eliminated that, we could get to a great level as humans.
I like to say sharing is caring.
True.
You know? Yeah, you know what I mean? I like to share. If I have it, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I agree with you guys because we live in an abundant period of history, and I think that we have enough resources not to fight over them. So yeah.
Right now, they want to take me. They took my kids. They like taking my pain. They like to make me suffer. It's cool. Like, they did so much damage. I can't feel no pain no more. Like, maybe like, you stabbed me so much. What else can you stab? You already stabbed my heart. My heart stopped beating. Yeah, I'm going to psychiatrist right now. I'm every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that we have that, and it actually doesn't. It makes you wealthier and more successful and higher on a social level. But I'm not even sure that it makes you happy. I think being happy should be more valuable.
It just needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Well, oh, you're doing this wrong. Oh, you're doing this. You know, I just need somebody to listen to me, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not asking no answers and no questions. I just want somebody to listen to me.
Okay.
If I talk to my mom, puñeta, tú eres un hombre. Venga, ponte los pantalones. I was like, oh, whatever. You just say.
Pantalones, I like that word. Okay, thanks for sharing.
I see.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, continue. Now I'm listening.
I see.
Yeah. Hellion.
I really have to go actually, and it's a bit of a busy Saturday afternoon where I am here. So.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So if you want to share your...
Let me just say, yeah. On a positive note, let me just say though that VR in general and these sort of forums like you've been running for quite a while now, Azzy. I think they really do contribute to education and just for people getting on with each other. Just knowing that there's a variety of views on almost every subject is really does help.
Thanks for saying that.
So please keep them going because I always enjoy them and I always learn something. So that must be a good source of education, isn't it? Every time I come here, I learn something new.
Bonding and information.
And it's great hearing from some of you, and it's really good. So I'm going to have to go now, but
yeah, it was a pleasure to see you. Thanks for running. Yeah. Thanks for coming and joining.
Wonderful day.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad to see you.
Adios, or whatever it is you say.
Adios.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Anyway, I'll see you around.
Ciao.
Okay. Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay, great. Okay, so I also have a hand raised from Paige, so it's time to give her a megaphone to hear a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to change my position to see you better, guys. There.
I'm gonna be in the middle.
Hi, I'm so excited. I can't talk for long. I've been moving from one house to another, so it's just taking a lot of time. And I've been looking for you guys every Saturday. I want to know, are you guys moving to monthly, or are we gonna start seeing you weekly again?
No. Oh, yeah, it's gonna come back to normal because am I breaking up? Is it fine? Yes, Yes, I was on vacation in Thailand. It's rather far away from where I am right now. So because of the jet lag and being depressed after coming back from paradise to cold Russia. So yeah, but we are back. This is our first event after the vacation that I had. And the next Saturday or some upcoming Saturdays, I'm gonna definitely have a show dedicated to Paul Leff, who was our good friend. And before that, I think we'll keep doing that weekly. So yeah, thanks for coming back. Happy to see you.
Thanks for doing this. I agree with the person who just spoke. It's just such
Dave,
a value added,
Ion.
to the community. And now that winter's coming back, I mean, even right now, there's more people than were here a month ago. So just this room. I was gonna say because I moved my son. He was going to a Montessori school. He's in 3rd grade. Now he's going to a public school, and it was he's ADHD and I'm ADHD, but it has been like the hardest transition for me.
I remember, yes, it was problematic, yes.
It scared the mess out of me, you know, like he had never taken a test before or a quiz, and I don't necessarily agree with tests or quiz, especially after having seen him not have them for the first few years of his education. And then I felt really torn between, like, you know, how do I teach him that points matter when I know that they shouldn't? How do I teach him that sitting down matters? And I believe that for 8 years old, that's a little bit young to have, you know, anyway.
Yeah, especially for boys.
It's been really hard, and he made a 44 Caligula nose on his first math quiz, and on his first science, it was science, so it's like soil. He didn't realize that there was 2 sides of the paper. I mean, he knows there's 2 sides of the paper. He didn't know that there was the other side of the test, though. So he just didn't do half of it. And it broke my heart because he's so smart and bright, but it's also not, he hasn't been taught to work in this structure. And then is this structure conducive to good creativity and like confidence and capacity for a child to grow up and be an educated adult? I don't know, but it is enough because I did it. And all this stuff, he made a 95 on his math test this week. And I'm so proud of him because, I mean, gosh, that was just like the hugest growth. And it was literally remembering to show his work because he had never had to show his work, right? But he wouldn't get full points for showing his work. He was taught to do this stuff using, you know, his hands and his mind and not so much paper. Anyway, so it's been really hard. I don't know. I was just gonna. That's my little contribution. That he's no smarter this week than he was 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna tell you that. He's learned how to look on both sides of the paper. Show his work whenever he already knows how to do something in his head, and you know, write his 6s. Make sure every single time that his 6s are turned the right way, and now he's conformed and he's happy. Like I said, none of this bothered him. I did tell him because I'm worried about the competition thing. Like me and my therapist we're making a joke about, you know, okay, look at the guy next to you, the guy to your right. Not all of you will be here at the end of this. Like, not all of you are gonna make it. And it's like they're 3rd grade, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, instantly competition.
Like, me and my therapist just dying laughing at that, how screwed up this is. But then I just told my son, like, your goal is to get as many points on this test as you can because you're trying to beat yourself and you're trying to beat that test. You know? And he's not allowed to, he's not allowed. He does it sometimes, but I always also tell him, like, you never look at what someone else has unless you're making sure they have enough. If they have enough, then what they have more than that is beautiful. But, like, you only measure what other people have just to make sure that they have enough. And if they don't, you help them with that, and that's it.
That's such a great approach.
It's a great way to be intentional. I like that.
The way that we look at what other people have is, do they have enough? They do? Okay, great. And move on. But, like I said, it doesn't always work. He's 8. And I'm 43, and I don't always remember my own advice. So I just wanted to throw that out there that there's my little contribution for the week. And I'm not going to be able to stay long, and I can't
Thanks.
wait.
Please stay longer and say as much as you can, because this is amazing. When I love when people are active, and thanks for sharing. And that's really flattering that you were looking for us every week. That's really sweet. Thanks for that dedication.
I was was like, I've got to email her, but I don't want to bother her. Like, obviously she doesn't.
Please bother.
There.
Please bother. Yeah. It's just such a pleasure that we created such like a nice space, and people value things that they can share here and get here. So this is so amazing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I'm so thankful that some people came today, because I just posted it like 1 or 2 days before the event. So like I wasn't very systematic on that. So I promise next time.
Like, I think I subscribed, so I saw like that you guys had one projected
Mm-hmm.
like weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
So then Caligula and I spoke the other day. They have one coming up sometime.
Yeah, it's actually tonight.
You guys scheduled a long time ago.
It's actually one tonight, and it's called Simulation Nation, because it's another community here, and probably you've seen it because you're in American time zone, and I never could get to their events because it was 3 a.m. for me in the morning, and they contacted us and they said, hey, do you want to come to our show and we wanted to interview you, and maybe you can tell us about your show and something. So we picked the time that is going to be optimal for both time zones, and it's going to be at 10 o'clock for me, which is going to be after like 3.5 hours, right?
Okay,
Yeah, 3.5
I will
hours.
try to make it.
Yeah, if you want, it's
I
it's a
bring my laptop.
yeah. I'm gonna record it anyway and put it on our upload it to our YouTube channel so you can see it later. No worries. But if you can come and support us, that would be amazing too. So if you have time, of course, and if you want to come. Okay, I think I accidentally hit the video screen when I click towards some users. Yep. Okay.
I was like, what happened to the screen?
Yeah, it does happen that sometimes it reacts not only in the browser but also inside here. So
Guys, we only say cash, not checks, okay?
cash. Okay. So what do you think that games are a good way to educate kids? Or maybe I think Paige had a good point that maybe being outside. I loved how the ancient Greek, philosophers, how they said they had these lectures of philosophers, like very prominent ones, when they were walking around or sitting in the nature, like under the sun or something. What do you think about that format of education? I would love to be, as a kid, probably I'm ADHD as well because I was rather active and still am. And when I had to sit for hours, it was a little bit tiring for me. And I wish I could be outside doing the same thing and studying. If for some subjects, I'm sure it's going to be possible. Or maybe we can implement some of the, I think we could implement some of the subjects, including lectures or something like philosophy or morals or some discussions. Being outside would be amazing. Maybe, could be a good part of education. And also it could teach kids to appreciate their environment, being around nature, being around the places in their neighborhood, learning more about it, and integrating that into some other subject that is going to be outside. That would be amazing. Why not? Okay. Maybe arts classes or philosophy classes. Okay, Kikito, I still have your hand raised, but I think you're done because it's 24 minutes ago. Anybody else want to share? I don't have any hand raises, so anybody wants to jump in? Why not?
I can always jump in.
Yes, let's do that.
Go next.
Yay. Paige, let me give you a megaphone.
My megaphone, there we go.
You do have that. And actually, Mentes asked...
I'll be the beep.
Yeah, actually, Mentes asked a good question. Like, what could be the... can you repeat the question, something about values and...
what could be the goal of education?
Mm-hmm.
Is there, what is it? Oh, do you think it is?
That is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Or what should it be? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure, your thoughts
To me,
maybe.
okay, I mean, like, my goals for my son.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start there, and they're not all about education, right? But I mean, kind of they are.
Your son
But
said
hold
the
on,
future,
yo, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So education for my son, or goals for my son when he grows up, I want him to be, safe and secure, kind, and content.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I like how you start with safety. That's my issue, so...
Yeah. And so safety and security are both, I think, you know, emotionally safe, physically safe, and emotionally and physically secure. But I think that they come from mostly the education that he gets now in school. And some things that I teach him, and then some things that we sort of learn from just being humans, you know, or that we know from our humanity that's not safe or safe. But and the way that I talk to him, and the way that I expect him to talk to me, and the way that we talk to others, the way that we talk in our homes, that we don't talk when we're in public, you know, just because that contributes to his safety and his security and to his kindness. But like, where does education, like formal education, fall into that? I mean, we only need enough skills that, you know, make us successful in our society to be safe and secure. In my opinion, when it comes to what education can teach us, of course, the social arts and stuff, but I don't know what is education. I mean, ours is so, I'm saying ours, Western world, United States, is just so like, I don't know, it's hard to teach millions and millions and millions of people. I'm going to give my government a little bit of space for that. Like, it's a hard task. And it's hard to get millions of people to agree on what's right to teach and how to teach and all of that. So, I don't know.
Get the resources for that too.
But yeah, and it's a lot. So we have to go, like, how do you do that? And what is the best way? And how can one person teach 16 to 30 children at the same time in an effective manner? I don't know, but they do to some degree. I mean, we have to measure effectiveness, but I mean, most children learn how to read and write in school, and they learn how to add and subtract, which are like the basics of, they learn that crap in elementary school, and then after that, just thinking critically, being open to new ideas, being curious, being creative, questioning, like sort of maybe like we should just know at the end of the day that there's so much we don't know. But we have to have the tools to be safe and secure, and we should be kind and content. I mean, that's all I want for my son are those 4 things.
Yeah, I agree with you so much, and I think that kindness part is something that is somewhere between the family and school, and the responsibility is somewhere in the middle. That's why it's hard to tell which is whose responsibility that is. So, but definitely the values of processing, critical thinking, and being kind and understanding to people. I think that's definitely something that education could help with. And I never, limit that understanding of education as if this is just institution where kids go, like a school, something like that. I think that education is that any formal system like that has some consistency in some systematic, manner that is able to teach and make a person better, like to develop their qualities and skills. Why not? I think that all of them, of these systems are education. Why not? We can even buy some online courses. It's still education. It gives you knowledge. It gives you a skill. If it teaches you something, and I think with online courses, I think we are beyond the point where education is just school, because there's so much that an adult person, a grown-up, could acquire. Hello, James Believer. Nice to see you. It seems like you're trolling a little bit or being curious. Yeah. So please be respectful and join the circle, and feel free to hang around, but still be respectful to others. Okay. So excellent. Thanks for sharing, Paige. Always nice to have some headliners here. Okay. Caligula, I see your hand raised. Let me give you a megaphone too to join the conversation and bring some more into the circle there.
Thank you. I wanted to just kind of ask a question to everyone. Do schools have any role in teaching children empathy and how to put themselves in the shoes of other people, so they don't grow up and become terrible people?
Good question. Very good question.
Mendez, earlier you had said that you think schools should have some role in teaching morals to children. And I'm just wondering how that might look in your eyes.
What do you think, Mendez?
Um, you gotta get them to do principles, anything like they don't talk nothing about being, like better humans. They don't do community service. Like every school should be out in the community doing community service, working with the elders, cleaning up or something. But they don't do that. That's not like civil service isn't something that's taught in schools. Instead, it's the subject matter to make you better employees. I think. I don't know. I would say just put anything in every classroom. There got to be something. I don't know if there is like a institute. I heard like a for that Ruhi Institute. I heard of a book that's like a series of educational books for spiritual stuff or morality. Provoking thought for children, for younger age people. So, but beyond that, it got to start somewhere. Maybe have do churches go out to the schools or something, or anything just to get that.
Yeah.
Well, something to get them thinking about making better decisions and about being good to other humans.
Tell your kid who's God, who's Jesus. Tell your kid who's Madonna's.
Kikito, would you like to say something about the topic or answer the question? Let me give you a megaphone.
Yeah, swear to God, we need education in school. Like, yeah, you can have education and how to behave. But then the school is like, he's not my kid. I don't give a fuck what he does out of school. I'm just here to get paid.
I think they don't get paid too much, but yeah, some of them, true.
Yeah, they just want to eat. The teachers want to eat. They don't care about the kids. If they would care, be having less violence. True or false? That's because you saw the cop. You saw the cop. He's like, oh, I will go in and save the other kids. But guess what? It's not here. How do you be safe knowing the cop? He's not even trying to save your own kid. No, but no, sure, he can save all other kid. You heard about that? She got fired because of that.
Yeah, things happen like that. It's curious.
Yeah, things happen like that here in America.
That's what I got, bro. That's what I got. America. I'll be honest. Russia, take over. That's what I got. Take it.
We can't take over even our own country. Come on, it's too big. Okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, can I be honest? I just met a Russian guy, right? 9 years old. Straight Puerto Rican, Spanish, straight up like me. I was like, damn. I thought he was Puerto Rican. No, you're still there, Russia. I was like, wow. This guy talks Latino. Swear to God, he's 10 years old. For real, bro. Swear to God, they're taking over. Hey, they're gonna come in here and I'm upset there, all right? Okay, all right.
So some teachers,
I finished. I'm gonna mute myself now and go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Teachers,
Paige? You
some
still have a
teachers are
microphone.
not great teachers, and then someone turned it on a while ago. I appreciate it, but some teachers are not good teachers or great teachers. I agree with that, but like just like people in the medical profession, most cops, even though I don't like cops, most teachers, most humans are just doing their best. Doesn't make them great or whatever, but I mean most humans are doing their best, and I think that most teachers go into education, especially in the United States where they don't get paid well at all.
Yeah.
Because they have a passion for teaching. I have a lot of educators in my family, and they definitely lose sleep. Hey, you're interrupting a lot, and you're making it where people can't hear.
I'm not talking to you. Don't chill.
No, but everyone.
Please be respectful, guys.
We can't hear you. That's why I was asking you to mute yourself so you can raise your hand. That's one of the things that we learn in school here. So.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I think that the educators in my family, I'll say that, because my brother's a teacher, my sister-in-law is a teacher, my other sister-in-law is a school counselor, my other sister-in-law is a child therapist. They lose sleep at night about, children situations. They absolutely care. A lot of their job isn't even focused on educating. It's focused on safety and security at the end of the day of these children. So they do try to teach empathy. Like I said, not all, no one's the best at it, but I think most people that go into education in the United States where you don't get paid well, I mean, they're not going to go and get a 4-year degree My degree is in IT. I do cybersecurity. Like, that's more lucrative than being a teacher. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So obviously they care, or they wouldn't have done all of this to make like $40,000 a year and live in poverty.
Yeah.
My 2 cents
Yeah.
to that.
It's true. It's true. There are always different people, good teachers, bad teachers, like in any other profession. But I think it's just in general. Again, I'm not sure about. I've never seen any American schools. Again, that's why it's difficult for me to share my experience. And of course, when I speak about Russian education, I speak only about my school and my experience. But as I said, it was like a little island of that Soviet school still left, intact when I was getting my education in local school. And actually, our teachers did a very good job at educating us in terms of morals and behavior and feeling empathy and helping each other. For example, when we had literature classes with Russian literature, because many Russian writers of the classical period, like Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, specifically Dostoevsky, they have a lot of the plots are almost always built on the main hero who has very high moral standards, not even with connected with religion or anything else. And the fact that in our classes we had a lot of discussions where she said, what is this book about? Not just like the content, but the idea. Where do you see that idea coming from? What do you think that he feel in this situation? Why do you think he did this or that? And those were books with dark stories. Like, for example, Dostoevsky's book is Crime and Punishment. A young guy who had like some psychological issues in St. Petersburg, which is a very not very sunny city. That's why you get depressed very easily after 6 months, or year round without sunlight. It kind of makes you very gloomy. And he actually killed, I think he had to pay some money to somebody. And he actually killed an old woman who was not very a kind person. But the whole book is about how he suffered from his decision that he made and like all that. It's a kind of dark book. But when you're like 15 or 16, you don't have that limits and social constructs that the society has later. That's why you can, without emotions, you can just get engaged with these with these characters and get some moral, moral education from that. How to behave, how to not behave, what's the fair way to do things. Because,
I've never heard that. Moral education.
Yeah, when you talk about moral education, it actually gets like almost instantly into the jurisdiction of religion, and that's where it gets tricky. How to find out where's that moral that you can teach, because it's so fluid. It changes like daily based on what's going on in the society, and that's why it's so difficult to teach kids, because it comes to the point with their parents where sometimes the school like moral course can contradict family's course. For example, if you come from an Italian family with for example, very tight connections inside the family and relatives, and you get educated that you should be very individual and you should value only yourself and start with yourself, that might contradict the family values and family moral systems. So choosing that moral system gets tricky. But if you asked me, I would teach moral something. Maybe I would change the name probably to get rid of that meaning that comes with it, with religious education and all that, because many people suffered from religious education at one point or another. So I would say something about like spiritual or just like moral, something like psychological health, like empathy, something that is gonna just teach simple principles of logic and reciprocity, and that would help people understand the main principles of psychology and group psychology, because sometimes kids, they don't understand how to and also emotional intellect is also a very important, I think, point to teach kids right now, because many kids, they don't have enough exposure to a real human conversations and communication to build those social skills. And they might need to get some extra explanation on what's good and what's bad, what people feel, and what you should, think about before you make some decisions, because you should consider some things that you might get later, or maybe like some other people have to think about what you're doing. So something like, I think logic and just, that's part of logic for me. Yeah. You could, it's pretty much the same, because it's teaching kids that if you want something for yourself, like some good things, you should consider that other people also. Yeah. You should consider. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, or when you hurt somebody, you should be, it's part of your logic. You should understand that somebody else can do that to you, and do you want that to happen to you? So I think that's a very simple principle that could be taught, like of reciprocity logic, and that could help as a moral ground too.
Very logical approach.
Yeah.
Do that, though.
It's
When they had prayers in school,
Mhm.
they still didn't have like that type of conversation about moral aspects. It was still always book learning. Read this book, memorize, repeat. You know?
I would have some like a case-based education where you just give, like in maths you do some tests and you solve some different problems. You could do the same. You could give a situation to different kids with photographs and pictures of people and little cues that give you some information about people's mood and opinion and what they feel. So that way kids could start solving those little problems and get around the situations that are going to be in their real life with other people, right? So some emotional intellect there. Okay, does anybody want to join the conversation? Let's see, participation, hand raises. Okay, Jared, hello, I see you. I think it's your first time here, right? Welcome to Theory of Everything. Yay, let me give you a megaphone.
I actually forgot my question. No, I had my hand raised like 5 minutes ago. So
Sorry.
I forgot it.
That happens sometimes. That's fine. You can just like jump in and maybe while you speak, maybe you can remember what you wanted to ask. So what do you think about education, where you come from, and maybe in general, what would you want to get as an education for yourself or for your kids, for the future society? Just share your thoughts. Any random stuff. Yeah.
I want the world, Chico, and everything on it.
Kikito.
Scarface, I'm sorry, I can be quiet.
Okay.
I guess one of the things that was mentioned earlier was about teachers teaching morals to students, and I think that's not their job at all. I think it's up to the parents to teach their kids morals. So, I mean, I think teachers should just be able to teach the facts. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like,
yeah, well, I think that's what our education is based on, those principles that you mentioned. But I think the information, that's the shift that we see in I'm 32. So when I was studying, actually, we learned many facts and different information. But now there's so much information that is accessible that it becomes almost impossible to be, to remember all of it. And secondly, because there's so much more of that stuff, I think that we should learn to process that instead of just memorizing, just to, sift through the information and find something that is, valuable and verified as a source of information.
well, two things. One is, a lot of things that are being taught, like regarding ethics and things of that nature, are also being combated in schools. There's like a lot of misinformation going on, like even when like teaching about gender and so forth and so on. But also in the education system, there's a lot of things that are taught that aren't really, I would say, useful. Almost 80% of the things that I was taught in school, even throughout college, not useful or relevant in my life. So, it needs to be reanalyzed. It definitely needs to be reanalyzed and reevaluated, because it's not even the things that they're teaching in college. Like a lot of the things are outdated. There is
Yeah. True. Sure. Hello, Mr. Repent. Is it your first time here? Yeah, let me give you a megaphone, and also, exactly. I actually have Paige on the wait list too. So, but before we go there, let me give you a megaphone for a sec, and you can ask your question. There you go.
Yeah. So the question is this: has anyone actually said anything positive about education, or is it just a big group of people having a big yap?
It's a talk show called Theory of Everything. Me and Mendes, there are two co-hosts, and every week we choose some topic to discuss, and everybody can join this open floor and express their opinion, their thoughts, so that way by the end of the conversation we can expand our mindsets through personal connections and stories and thoughts and information that people share in the group. So it's your turn. You had a hand raised, so you can contribute to the conversation and express your opinion. Kikito. Yeah. So, Mr. Repent, what do you think about it?
What do you think, sir?
Oh.
To hear what Mr. Repent has to say.
No, it's just that the education system now, they're abolishing all the religious studies and religious educations now. They're taking that all out now. I think that's very important. As a young child coming up through school, you should be taught the truth.
I love your accent.
Been taken out of it now. Oh, do you?
Yeah. Is it something close to what part of England? It's Tottenham? No.
Oh, it's Ireland.
Ireland. Oh, Ireland. Okay, that's what I thought first. Okay, nice. Anyway, I love your accent. I was trying to guess British accents. So, what about moral?
A lot of our schools, every school now, religious educations has been taken out of schools. And schools now are allowing children to make a choice whenever they're 4 years old or more. Whether they're a boy, whether they're a girl, whether they're perhaps non-binary.
Kikito, please mute yourself. Don't interrupt people.
But that's what they're allowing nowadays. So it's mad.
Do you think that...
The first thing you said to yourself is, why are they taking religious education out of it?
Do you think that's bad that they did it? Or good?
Well, it's, leaving a child to decide at 4 years old or older whether they want to be a man or a girl. You have to say to yourself, seriously, where's the morals, huh? Where's the standard? Where's the standard?
Interesting question. Okay.
The standard was taken out of the Bible at the start.
See, okay, Jared, let me give you a megaphone, right?
Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Repent, this is a typical rhetoric that I hear often. I think it's ridiculous. Because people tend to not even understand the difference between gender and sex. So if you can't understand those basic fundamental differences, then education definitely needs to be taught in that regards. When you talk about religion, it seems like you're talking about the Bible, Christianity. If we want to have religion taught in schools, then let's have all top 10 religions in the world be taught. Let's not just single it out to one religion. I know, right? So that's the thing. It's like, why should a school teach? I do believe religion should be taught in school, but it should not be one religion. Because in that regard, you're sort of indoctrinating. You're indoctrinating. And that's what I feel like a lot of religions do, is they indoctrinate kids. And that's how religion continues. So, I agree that religion should be taught, but it should not just be one religion. It should be multiple religions with varying degrees of...
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
I like that.
When you finish, I got a question.
Okay, Kikito, what's your question? Paige is also waiting for the... Yeah, so...
But you gotta have the devil Bible too in school. We got a devil Bible. You know that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you get religion in school,
Mhm.
you're gonna get the devil too in school.
Well, actually, that's a good point too.
Okay, like we can teach different things. Like humans are humans. Like children aren't stupid. Like you can teach religions, like what Jared was saying. Hold on, I'm talking. Okay. Anyway, you can teach various religions without teaching morality. I want to make that clear. Like, I can't. You're distracting.
Kikito,
It's
please.
disrespectful and it's rude. Stop talking. Stop talking. I muted you, so now I can't hear you. Thank God. So, anyway, so my
Kikito.
point is that we can teach. You're being very disruptive to everyone, not just to yourself, and not just to me. You're making it where no one can talk. You interrupt everybody. I can't hear you, so that's good, but you need to stop so everyone else can hear me, okay? Let's just be respectful.
Keep talking.
Yeah, guys, I like the atmosphere. I enjoy every personality, but yeah, I agree with you, Kikito. I love you how passionate and energetic you are, but when you speak, some people get distracted when they have additional voices. So, yeah, I muted you for a second. No, actually, I agree with her that sometimes it's just like when you have, yeah. Don't worry, you can speak as much as you want. When it feels uncomfortable, I can just moderate and mute you for a second, okay?
Right, take your turn to say something cool. You gotta wait your turn to say something cool. Okay?
Good point,
But we
yeah.
want your opinion. But right now, it's my turn to say something cool.
Go ahead, take the mic.
Okay,
I was
good.
given the mic.
Yes, excellent. He muted himself, so Paige, please continue.
Anyway, thankfully. So what I'm saying is, I'm sorry. So I think that one, we can teach religion without teaching morality, and we can teach morality without teaching religion.
Good point.
But like, they don't have to be linked like that. First of all, second of all, I do agree that multiple religions should be taught. I teach my son about all different types of religions. I think it's incredibly important for us to be able to connect to each other as humans, and a part of that is for us to understand as much as we can about where people derive their values, their beliefs, their culture, and all of this from. I think it's beautiful. There's a lot of harmful aspects of everything. Anyway, my son does get taught. So in 3rd grade, they are currently, when they read a story, they have to say, from each character's point of view, what were their motivations?
Nice.
How does this character feel? What is their mood? What are they doing that is like, quote unquote, good, or whatever kind, and what are they doing that's not kind? What are they doing that's self-motivated? What are they doing that is for everyone? And then just looking at each character's point of view and where they're coming from. And so even in 3rd grade, that is starting to happen. And then the other stuff, like I keep getting distracted by people.
Keep your focus.
As far as, like my child, okay. This whole like teaching, allowing children to say who they are is okay. In fact, I think we should encourage it.
Yeah.
I'm talking. So, anyway, so having if a 4-year-old, gender expression and sex are so different that it doesn't matter. And if we don't understand that, that's an issue. But anyway, 4-year-olds don't care too much if they're a male or a female or a woman or man or boy or girl, as much as they care what we allow them to do. They care if they're allowed to play. Like if I would have said, you cannot have those pink sparkly shoes, these things with stars and rainbows and all of that to my son, that would have really hurt his feelings, right? For no reason. Because like boy shoes are like red, blue, black, and white, and brown. Even for 4-year-olds. Or they can have like colorful, bright colors, things that kids like. So impressing society's point of view on a 4-year-old, I think, is harmful.
We have a lot of noise tonight, so Paige, keep your focus. You're doing good. Yeah.
It's really hard because of.
I know it happens sometimes. Yeah, don't worry. Try to focus.
Problems, but anyway, so yeah, I guess it's really hard for me to.
No, the points are really great.
What I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
Just, I do think that we can teach not, I think that morals is a heavy word, like you said,
Mhm.
but I think having like ethical discussions, and there's a ton of different philosophies and
Mhm,
theories
mhm.
on, you know, what is ethical and what's not. Like, is it just a means to the to the end, so
Mhm.
everything's a wash, or does it matter? You know, it's simple stuff like my son saying, um, if because China's gonna invade Taiwan finally. I mean, they've been talking about it forever. So my son says we shouldn't let that happen. We should help Taiwan. And
Mhm.
I said, you know, Harrison, we should not have war.
Mhm. Mhm.
No one should be invading anybody. And, you know, and yes, we want to help underdogs, but also war is war. People will die. And
Mhm.
Chinese people and Russian people and Taiwanese people and
Mhm.
Americans and like all of the, we're not better than we're all humans.
True. True.
But to
We should all
teach
complain to the
children
government.
that
Be like this. No more war.
I think it's very complicated. It's just gonna be difficult to just change the world order.
it's going to be difficult for us to have a reasonable
Yeah, conversation about it.
Someone that's behaving that way.
That's
Okay,
fine.
well, I'm going to go back and pack, and then hopefully I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. I'm not leaving because of issues. I couldn't stay for long, but thank you again.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
really looking forward to seeing you guys every week.
Yeah, thanks for joining. It's actually the end of our event too by time, so it's 7 o'clock my time. So it was a good start. A little bit noisy, but that's fine. Every event is unique, so thanks for coming. Yeah, let's keep focus on what's important. Yes. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming. I think I still have one more hand raised. So before we leave, and we have some after party time anyway. So Holger, would you like to add something to the education wise? Because I'm sure you have something interesting to share.
Yeah.
There.
So yeah, it was quite a while ago that I raised my hand.
Sorry, yeah.
So it was actually I know. Anyways, it was quite a while that I raised my hand. It was actually about like the education, religious education and
Morals.
educating morals and stuff, and so the thing is like when you are educating children, you know, so. You know, who tells which religion is right? You know, which religion is wrong? If any of them is right, you know, and I think that when you make children to learn a religion as an alternative to evolution, and you also have to teach the children about the flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah, that's officially is a religion now.
So yeah, but like it has the same core of truth for me at least, So. So it's for me as somebody who is in the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, is very offensive to not to see this as serious as other religions.
Well, it was created actually initially. If does everybody know about this Flying Spaghetti Church? Was it church religion? At one point, yeah, not
Church of the Flying Spaghetti.
Yeah, can you tell the story behind it? Who created and why? Like briefly.
So the story about the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster was that the school board, I think it was in Kansas, was deciding that the children have to be taught creationism as an alternative, as a second view next to evolution. So that's that the children could make their mind about what's right and what's wrong about it. But then there are a lot of religions out there, and also when you teach those kind of content, you may also you also have to teach the gospel of the flying spaghetti monster, you know.
Yeah, as far as I remember, it was not Dawkins, but like there was a very, I think it was like a very famous critic and skeptic, and he created. I think there was some precedent where people, religious people, wanted to wear some official clothes or something like that, and
yes,
he applied.
The thing is that in a driver's license you are allowed to wear religious
headwear,
headwear, Muslim women are allowed to wear the headscarf, the hijab, you know, and the members of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters, our religious headgear is a colander, so a pastor's trainer.
Yeah.
And so our members try to get a photo of their driver's license with a colander. You know, like in some countries they got their driver's license a colander, in other countries not.
I just googled. It was who was the founder of it? I don't remember, but they created it as an alternative to what's going on with those headwears for different religions, and it started as a joke.
It was not necessarily for the headwear. It was more like with the education. It started with the education. With the school board, which was deciding that the children should learn creationism.
Yeah, I understand, but it was just like it has a very interesting story. This Church of a Flying.
From there, and there were more like, you know, more things, you know, like there's certain things which other religions demand for themselves, you know, and those kind of things we demand also for us.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yes, okay, so we close our event. Our official time is over. So thanks everybody for joining. It was fun, a little bit. Yeah, bye, Kikito. I love how energetic everybody is.
Hello.
Yay. Okay, so you guys, you can stay. There's a space here, and you can just hang around. Yeah, after party.
When you boys coming?
What? When my boys come? That's actually Mendes. He's here.
Yeah, when he's coming in.
He's here.
He's coming, right? He's coming soon?
Yeah, Mendes is here from the very beginning. It's Mendes.
Should be aware.
Bye, everybody. I have to run.
I don't have. See you, Ozzy.
Bye bye.